Okay, now we have our entertainment. So can we have our speakers come up there? The Theo Gino, please, Bob Joe, Dr. Dennis, okay? The format is pretty informal. They're gonna talk among themselves and also answer whatever questions you have, talking about the national issues, what they think about what's happening in the country, in the city, in the state. This is to be as casual as possible, try to answer your questions. Now, Theo Gino is from the Social Democrats of America. Okay? So we have the conservatives, so at least you have different views here. That's the way which I like it. I have also extended invitation to the working families, Democrats. They did not even respond. In the case of working families, I even went to the headquarters. They would not even send anyone down to talk to me. Okay. So, without further ado, let me pass the mic over to our three roundtable speakers.
Should I start? Just say a quick hello. Well, I want to thank everybody and thanks Daniel for inviting me. My name is Theo Gino. I'm the first national secretary of the Social Democrats of America. So what is that? That's the socialist faction inside the Democratic Party. And it might sound strange, but the Democratic Party is a bunch of liberals, 90%, and basically they run the Democratic Party the way they want. And the Democratic Party, or the Republican Party, I believe, they are machine to win elections. So we need to organize. The party needs values, and so basically the Democratic Party in New York is run by liberal values that are saying we want something and they will do something else once they're elected. So I call that corruption. And anywhere around the world, liberals tend to be corrupt when they have no check and balance. So that's why we need different value systems, such as the conservative, such as the socialist, such as all the other value systems that 6 billion people can recognize themselves in. That's basically the way I'm going to start. Okay. And I'm in the Democratic Party. And today, I will vote for Kamala. I will say that straight out because say it, but she's a liberal. So the thing is, for me, what? I should be ashamed, but because I'm a socialist. Hold on. I'm a socialist. I am at the far left. To my right is Kamala. Hold on. To my right is Kamala, which I don't agree with. But to her right is Donald Trump. I don't agree with him. Man. What are you doing up there? I'm just explaining where I'm coming from. My value system is represented by Bernie Sanders. I am a Bernie Sanders person. So for me, Kamala is a liberal, such as Obama, such as everybody. Basically, they lie. They tell you one thing and they do something else. And what I will say about Donald Trump is he's true to his word. He has laid down, when he came down that escalator, certain thing, and he hasn't lied to the American people. He said it. I disagree with what he said, but one thing he said very straight is what he will do. And during his 4 years, he did what he said he would do. Now, I have a difference of opinion. But Kamala Harris and all the liberals say one thing and do something else. So that was the beginning to set the tone and the mood.
Okay. Well, let's let the other people talk.
Yes. I found it very interesting what Theo was saying. Again, I'm Patrick McManus. I am the chairman of the Bronx County Conservative Party. I took over in 2020 when Bill Newmark, who some of you may know, passed away. The party at that point had really become very dormant. And with hard work, some of my members, we have been working on resurrecting the party. One thing I have to say that I met Theo for the first time tonight. We have a few things we agree on, But the one thing I totally disagree on is socialism, okay? This has been tried throughout history hundreds, if not thousands of times. And it has always ultimately led to failure. The society suffers, the people suffer. And this is why I firmly stand against socialism. And I do consider Kamala a socialist, a Marxist, and every other derogatory term you can think about. Yes. Okay, I will agree with you. But on the foundation, socialism does not help the people. It helps those in power. Okay, just like the Democratic Party is doing today. The people are not represented, the party and the power structure is. That is socialism summed up in a few words.
And that's.
Hi, everybody. Bob Chow from the Queens Conservative Party. Let me see one thing, I remember my family that escaped from communist country, China, to Taiwan 70 years ago. Because we're sick and tired with the socialism, we're sick and tired with the communists. Okay? Because we don't believe that if I give you everything and then you give up your right. We don't believe that. And then 35 years ago, my family, we moved to US, so I become citizen. We wait in the line. Okay? We do the right thing. I remember the first day I came to this country, my mother actually told me that you want something, you work for it. You want something, you wait in the line, and you work for it. And then now I feel confused. I feel confused because, now it's totally different. Now we're facing a lot of people that they don't wait in the line, they jump into this country illegally, and then they wait in the line to get the free stuff. What is this? And in my community, we have, in Queens, we have a lot of Asian, we have a lot of Chinese people. That they, and then we talk to them, and then they're like, Bob, I feel so confused. Now New York is actually more socialism than China. The government in China over there, they don't give out free stuff. You have to work your ass off. I'm sorry about my language, but you have to work. But not here. So my question is, how come we still talking about we're gonna vote for somebody who illegally opened the border? They create a lot of crazy problem. And then now they say, oh no, we're gonna fix the problem. They're the one who created the problem. Now they say they're gonna fix the problem. So if we don't agree the way that they want to fix it, which is limited to certain numbers for them to illegally come in, and then they're playing on us. What is this? They're kind of stealing the idea. They switch the idea. They play mine. They try to play our mind. No, we're not going to let this happen. Years ago, I have to admit, years ago, I worked for a state assembly that, is Democrat. Because they told me that, oh, we help people. We help the new immigrant, blah, 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 right? So we checked that, oh, okay. Because back then, we don't know anything about that. We don't know anything about this. But sooner or later, we realize something's incorrect. Because all they do is they go to a lot of, senior center. They go to a lot of, like a community club and all that, to give out free stuff. To give them benefit. So by end of the day, a lot of the people that they receive all those, items, especially by the election time, they will ask, who should we vote? And then you will always hear those, voices like, oh yeah, of course you're gonna vote for Democrat because they give you free stuff. If you vote Republican, if you vote some other, you're not gonna get the benefit. They're gonna cut your benefit. I'm not saying that Democrat people saying that, but what I'm saying is someone, somehow, somewhere is playing games. So when I realized this, I said, no, I gotta change. So by the time, when the assemblyman that, that I work for, when he retired, I switched party. And the conservative, our chairman, Jerry Lazar, we have a long talk, and then he asked me, Bob, why don't you come and take a look? First thing that I asked is the party that I'm gonna join right now, are we gonna train the people to be like, don't wanna go to work? Because I'm afraid. I'm afraid that to see more and more people waiting in the line to get free stuff instead of spend those time to work. I'm afraid that when those people that they don't want to improve themselves, they rather stay in the line to wait, to get the free stuff. And the whole society, the whole country will be ruined because nobody want to go to work. Everybody's waiting to get free stuff. And where do we get the money? Our tax money. We pay for those people who don't want to go to work, for them to, for those people who open the doors and come. Illegal, come in. We have a lot of, dumbass people that they pay their tax. We have a lot of people like that to pay the tax for you to, just come, don't worry. I'm sorry, 2 minutes. Thank you, love you. We'll give you free stuff. All you have to do is stay illegal. You can claim that you don't have money. You can still get the free stuff. We make sure that you can vote because we're about to pass a law for illegal to vote. So now we could get more illegal come in to get more free stuff by our money, by your money, by your kids' money, your great kids' money to feed those people. Whoever doesn't want, this is like the dream of America, American dream. I don't have to go to work. I don't have to go to work. Unbelievable.
Well, I haven't got, and the folks here, I just want to say two things. I'm going to go back a little bit in history, back to the American Revolution. Because we socialists, we believe in the American Revolution. We were formed by the American Revolution. Our thinking comes from the American Revolution. No, let me finish. But I will go, and I will go back to something that happened in Chicago. Somewhere, the worker in Chicago in 1870 decided that working 12-hour day was too much, no vacation, no day off, no anything. And they protested. They got together in Chicago at Haymarket and they say, we want to work 8 hours a day. And they fought. And today, we can, if you don't agree with any of that, you can remove Labor Day. Because Labor Day is a recognition of what happened in Chicago in 1880. You can look it up, all that. The second thing about what happened with the socialists is the Pledge of Allegiance, and you can check it out as well. The Pledge of Allegiance was written by a socialist. A black pastor socialist wrote the Pledge of Allegiance because we love America. And socialism is not about free work, it's not about getting free stuff. It is about sharing the wealth that is going around.
Why?
But let me finish. But that is in the American Constitution.
Let's let him talk.
How many signatures, Pat, there's a candidate running for state assembly in the 83rd Assembly District in the Bronx, right?
Right.
How many signatures does she need to get on the ballot?
I don't remember
The number
offhand,
is
Phil.
8. How many signatures for the Conservative Party for one pipeline? How many signatures do you need, Mr. Bob Chu?
40?
40 signatures to get on the ballot. And how about you, Mr. Fiocchino?
Several
So,
hundred.
You guys, you talk about the socialism and so on and so forth, the Republican Party is where it is. We need thousands of signatures to get onto the ballot. So you guys are up and coming, it's great, I hope you stick with it.
No, the point is, the system is broken because like William said, nobody's running into it. We're just letting a minority of people keep us in the dark on how the Democratic or the Republican system work. And this is what William said earlier, the county committee is the most important thing. And that's where I want to get to. I've been a socialist for a long time, but I realized that something was broken. Every time you were running a candidate, 80%, 20%. You advertise it, you spend thousands of dollars, 80-20. You don't advertise, you don't spend a single dollar, 80-20. No matter what you were doing, you were always seeing that pattern of 80-20. So I realized maybe we need to look at something different. And what are we missing? Nobody wants to talk values anymore. The Democrat is like, oh, we need to beat the Republican, whatever they do. The Republican, we need to beat the Democrat. But where are our value system? And suddenly I realized that people vote for a value system. We need to engage every voter. And I'm saddened that I don't see the working family here. I don't see the Democratic Party, the chair of the Democratic. I don't see the chair of the Republican, because I would like to hear everybody's value system, to hear what they believe and what they don't. And obviously, I know you don't believe anything I say in my value system, but I'm here to also talk about how broken the system is. And that we need to work together to fix the system. Everybody needs to run, like Steve said from Project Civitas, that we need to engage our neighbor. I don't want you to engage on what I believe. I want you to engage your neighbor on what you believe and talk to them to figure out, to convince them. And we need to get people to vote. Doesn't matter where your belief system is, we need to wake people up to vote. And I'll stop there.
Okay, we're going to ask you sort of wait for a brief moment, take a brief break. You also prepare to ask each other questions. As you're listening in the 6 conditions, I want to thank her very much, Sophia, for being a citizen and also registered as a public. Okay, so without further ado, until the rest of the meeting's over at 9:30, we'll turn back to the roundtable panel. I guess first question I'd like to ask Bob Cho is, why didn't Mary Ann Maloney get a chance to get the Queen's endorsement from you in time?
Oh, I spoke to you. I was mad at him, yeah.
Okay. But anyway,
I'd like to be
now
on
back
that.
to the table.
All right,
Danny, point of order, real quick, point of order. Listen, I know what it's like to go into a meeting and like be yelled at and all that stuff. Let's give Theo like some respect, let him speak, because the important thing that Theo got right now is he knows how to do the county committee. So we gotta work with him, because the county committee is the only way that we're gonna get out of this mess. So let's listen to this guy and not give shit, we don't agree with him, it's fine, but let's learn, let's focus on that, because that's what we gotta know. That's what we gotta know.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Patrick, you want to say something?
Daniel has the list of 6 proposals on the ballot. You can check it out on the Queens.
Website.
The Central Queens
GOP.
website and or email, and you'll be able to review those ballots yourself.
Right.
Those proposals.
okay, all right, that was a long intermission. Getting back to our earlier conversation, I'm very glad Theo brought up the issue of socialism in America being linked to the union movement in the 1870s and 1880s. We've come a long way, okay? We're in a much different world. But that is a prime example. The union movement here in the United States is a prime example of yet another failure of socialism. Okay, and I will explain this to you, Theo. Okay, I have been a lifelong union member. In my younger days, back in the 90s, I was in Local 32E, which is now absorbed due to corruption, absorbed into 32BJ. I ascended to be a district shop steward. I was on the negotiating committees. I was all union, rah, 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 rah. Okay? In sitting in the negotiations and in the back room, I realized, and this was back in the 90s, that this union was not working for their membership. They were working for themselves, okay? In this socialist system that Theo loves, these people ascended to a rank of power, okay? So now they started using that. Fast forward 2 years from those contract negotiations, every union business agent that I sat in those negotiations with was rounded up by the FBI and taken to jail, okay? Fast forward, the entire union was taken down. I ask everybody here today, do you know where the last president of the International Auto Workers Union is? He's sitting in federal prison right now, okay? Taking bribes. This is another prime example of why socialism fails. And why does it always fail? It's a great idea. I have to agree. The ideology behind it is absolutely amazing. But the one thing it doesn't count for is human beings and individuals. And as long as we are human and we are not robots, and some of us have a degree of ambition that's higher than others, the system will always, inevitably fail. If we take human beings out, it's utopia. It is. Socialism on paper is utopia, but it is impossible to put it into practice because of us. And that's why I am so vehemently against socialism.
Well, I want to thank you because you brought up the union. And when I ran for public advocate, I was sitting there, they invited me. And I was literally, I felt like a monkey in the room. They lined us up outside the room, all of us, Republican and Democrat, sitting one after the other. And then you can hear the person in the room begging for the endorsement of the union, saying what the union meant. And when my turn came in, I walked into the room for the first time, and I saw 30 people around. And they looked at me like, tell us what we want to hear. Not what you think, tell us what we want to hear for our union member. And you're absolutely right when you said there is corruption in the union in the United States. It's a failed system. Yes, the union created us, the Socialist Party, but the union in the United States didn't have the check and balance that is so American. And what happened, and I agree with when Giuliani took down the union and all that, the corruption and the stuff that I will not mention because
Well, this all goes on still today.
Yes.
The Teamsters Union, this election cycle, okay, the Teamsters Union was challenged about their previous endorsement, okay? So they said, we're gonna have a clear and open endorsement process this year. 69% of their membership said, we're with Trump. What did union leadership do? What did they do? Did they endorse Trump? No. They said no. They did not do what their membership directly told them
that's
to.
the problem.
And that is socialism.
no, that's
Socialism
corruption.
always ends with those on top ignoring those on the bottom. Okay? It's been proven throughout history. Read thousands of years back. It has failed in every instance.
I disagree, but
Okay?
I will
Where was
say-
it successful? Where has success, where has socialism
Well, you go to-
lasted more than 250,
You go to
300
Europe.
years?
You go to Europe. You look at
Failing countries. Right now, Greece went bankrupt.
Yeah,
Every
because
other
of- because of
every
the
other
Amer- because of
European
Wall Street.
nation now
Because
is
of Wall
teetering
Street.
on the brink. No, Greece went bankrupt because of guaranteed lifetime income.
No,
The
because they
socialism.
cooked the book, because Wall Street cooked the book for Greece to go into the European Union.
But anyway,
So
if I could make a proposal.
But let me say this, from France, if you go from Paris to Lyon, which is a town 700 miles, 7 kilometers away from the other side, you take the train, you do it in 2 hours. Why? Because you go to China. China has a very high-speed network of train, because they have taken and made it a policy to make it
Because they have
happen.
abused their workforce.
China,
They
yes.
have used,
France,
they
no.
have abused. This is how they built these great socialist utopias.
Don't bring
But
up
I'm,
finance. Don't do
the
that.
proposal I want to make is to move on from this argument
Okay.
against socialism, and let's get into some current political
Okay,
issues.
let's do that.
Yeah, let's also answer some questions from the audience. I'll let you guys pick wherever you want to go. I'll let you guys
Yes.
pick.
Yes, yes.
Oh, yeah, hold on, wait for the mic.
Give you the microphone.
Yeah, but the people on Zoom.
YouTube, so you hear it.
We'll get past it.
Bob, too. I remember when they gave away freebies. Mayor Bill de Blasio gave you a slice of pizza to vaccinate yourself. Yeah, that was memorable and disgusting. This is what we do, we give away freebies in New York so we can just buy people and their DNA, right? That worked well for a lot of people. Second part. That's it.
That's a comment.
I want to say anything? Okay. Pick wherever you like.
Whoever's got their hands up.
Daniel,
Okay.
the person you're next to, right?
If somebody else.
Yeah, so I just want you to define socialism, just very simple with socialism.
Who, me? You want?
Yes.
I'll start very simple. Socialism is where you put the human being in the center of the project. The project, whatever it is the human being first. The individuality of the human being within the collective. And that's where it's going to get complicated. When we talk about taking or making a law, it's about taking freedom away. And the debate around the socialist platform is about taking a freedom away. So the thing is, we're supposed to have different people fighting for it. Some people agree on this, some people disagree on the topic. But socialism is about socialist system is about having a system of discussion where we can have a disagreement. We are taking this freedom because we are not taking this freedom because. Let's fight it out. And socialism is about discussing the removal of the freedom because for the group, for society to work, we need to curtail certain freedom. And that's where it gets complicated.
That is totally contrary to what this country was founded on.
No, it's not.
It is completely the opposite.
Very simple thing.
But it's about
Very simple thing. Improve themselves, get a job.
I agree to that.
You don't like the job? Get another one, or build your own company.
Yes.
This is what America is for. Isn't that what we're here for? The American dream? You know, by the way, I like the pizza too, you know. But the thing is, right?
The answer on socialism.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry. Here we go.
You know, I came from the Europe, from Poland. And Poland was under the Socialist Party. Under the Socialist Party. That's what they call it. And it was one party.
Yes.
When you have a one party, you have a corruption.
Correct.
If you have a corruption, because they have to, put their own friends to the office for the cozy job. But so your freedom or your neighbor's freedom is gone. Because they go, like in my country, they manipulate how, okay, you want to go to other country? Pay the bribes. Put the alcohol on the table. That's where the corruption is starting. And the corruption is on every level. Besides that, it's nothing like, to produce something better or to work better or to give from yourself some invention or something like that for the country. No, because it's not worth it. If you try to do something better, then you're going to be, put down because they will say you are too smart. You should not work over here. Maybe you should look for a different job. If you start to talk too much, they're going to not play with you, we're going to kill you. That's what it was. Thousands of Polish people was killed because the Socialist Party was established by Kola. And people ran from Poland to United States to have a freedom. People ran from Europe to have a freedom in the United States. Now what we see is going to the direction opposite, from the capitalists to the socialists, to the communists. Socialists never established as a socialist, it go another step to the fascists and communists. And that's why over 100 millions of people was killed after in the Second War and after the Second War. And it will happen again.
It is communism.
And
It is communism.
You want to make some comments, any one of you?
One thing, you don't just change your name and then to avoid people calling you criminal. You don't just change your name. You know what I'm saying? Communists, socialism, do they do the same thing?
Yes.
And now you're telling me that I'm not because I'm, the name is different? No, I don't think so. Because we come from those countries that is socialism and then communism together, and then they create lots of, guess how many people got killed in China back then? 40 million. 40 million people. That's almost like twice of Taiwan. That's the reason why my grandparents, they go to Taiwan because they don't want to get killed. They don't want to get killed. Because at the beginning they said, we give you the land, everybody is equal. We give you the land. We don't like dictatorship. We don't like the capitalism, blah, 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 blah. So people believe it because a lot of people, they don't have, they're not educated back then. So they think that's okay. They think that's good. So they accept the socialism. They accept the communism. And guess what happened? After they took the power, after they took all the guns, and guess what happened? 40 million people died. And then another 20 million people died because of starving. That's the total.
That's socialism.
That's communism.
That's socialism.
Okay? Because they said we are socialism.
Communism.
At the beginning, they said we are the socialism. Now the problem is, once they got the power, the more power you got, the more corrupt you got. You could be.
What happened in Venezuela?
That's
When the socialists took over Venezuela,
they turn.
what happened?
They turn.
They turned.
They
to
turned.
communism.
Yes.
When the socialists take over everywhere, it inevitably leads to communism.
But how can you explain?
Never
Europe?
once in history has it not progressed to communism.
But how?
Never once.
What?
I mean,
I'm sorry, Kim, you want to take a question?
Yeah, first of all, I want to thank all of you for giving us the honor of coming, because a lot of people didn't. And this is such an important discussion, and I really appreciate we're having it. And Theo, I'd like to thank you for coming and facing me today. But two things first of all, I just want to say, you mentioned that you were a Bernie Sanders supporter. Confession time, I was too. I have over the last few decades, been on a journey of rethinking. And one of the things that I really have come to see, and you said it yourself just a moment ago, that the idea of socialism is that you have to give up a certain amount of freedoms in order to, and I saw, because in the last several years, I've been saying, why was it that all my most far left friends were among the most awful, to be perfectly honest.
They are.
Absolutely awful. And I said to myself, I have to start thinking about what it is about this philosophy. And you hit the nail on the head. But I want you guys to be discussing this because I'm far from an expert on it. But I had a question to ask you. You said you're going to vote for Kamala Harris. I understand you're a Democrat, so maybe you feel forced to, but you specifically said that the party was concerned with power and that she's a liberal, that she's not a socialist. I don't think she's a liberal. I don't think she has any principles, but that's another question. But you said that you're going to vote for her, but you also said that the party is mainly concerned with power, and also that that you think it's really important for people to vote their values. So I'm curious to know why, instead of voting for, I mean, obviously you're not going to vote for Donald Trump, but why aren't you voting for Jill Stein? If you're concerned
I'll go
with
very
those
quickly.
values.
I'll go very quickly. The Democratic Party and the Republican Party are quasi-government institutions ingrained in the Constitution of the state of New York. The commissioner organized the election, Republican and Democrat. On the commissioner table, there never has been a conservative commissioner. They haven't been a Green Party conservative commissioner. They haven't been a reform when there were all those parties. If the Board of Election had a commissioner of each party represented in the state of New York, the election law would be very different.
Certainly don't disagree with you on that point.
So the problem is that Jill Stein and everybody else in the third party world are just puppet to the will of the Democratic and the Republican Party together, deciding how that candidate can hurt the other candidate that is not me. And that's how they use, and I watch them at the Board of Election eliminate candidates because they will hurt their candidate. And we have seen that over and over. And we need to change that. And that's why I don't want Jill Stein to be a third party candidate. I want Jill Stein to be the Green faction inside the Democratic Party. And if she had that, but she refused. Anyone in the United States seems to not understand the quasi-governmental function of the Democratic and the Republican Party. And that's why I say, you have to get involved in your Republican Party. And Daniel here should be the next chair of the Queens County Republican Party. And in Manhattan, Dr. Devi should be the chair of the Manhattan Republican Party. But Dr. Devi right now is in a lawsuit for the last year and a half, fighting for her life because they're using the system against her. And basically, the system is broken. Instead of her building the Republican Party in Manhattan, she's not doing anything of that. She's working and she's fighting a lawsuit against the CFB. So basically, we need to stop fighting inside, like one party against the other. We need to rebuild all our parties from the ground up until every county, committee, election district is fought for. We need to fight for the value around our neighbor, Democrat and Republican, and we need to go convince them that our word is better than the other. But we need to do it.
I don't know how you can make so much sense and still be a socialist.
Well,
that's what I'm thinking. That's exactly what I'm thinking.
Now,
everything he's saying is contradicting being a socialist.
But
I don't understand it.
But
He
because-
thinks he's a socialist.
Because hold on.
There's a conservative in you dying to get out. Yeah, that's what's going on.
350 million Americans believe socialism is what it
I
is.
don't care what people. You said it yourself. Socialism is about taking away rights.
Yes.
You said that is the foundation of socialism. That couldn't be further from what America is. I'm sorry.
We have a question here to the people. For my friend in the middle, what's more important, freedom or safety?
Well, to have safety, that means you're going to have to remove someone's to freedom. You cannot.
Which one is it?
What?
Is safety more important or is freedom more important?
Both
They're
are.
not even.
No, they're not even. You're absolutely right.
Safety or freedom? Which would you pick?
On what?
Freedom.
Hold on.
Freedom. know the answer, or ask them the question.
Well, it depends. It depends on the
So we're
topic.
not taking something away from you. Are we taking your freedom, or are we taking your safety?
Neither.
Something's being taken from you.
But-
Which one are you giving up?
But on a topic, you need to be topical.
You're losing something. What are you giving up?
But the thing is,
There's no but. You're giving up something. What's it gonna be? Your left eye or your right eye? But you're losing one. What are you giving up?
it depends on the case by case. It's a case by case. It's a case by case issue.
Well, Jimmy, as he described socialism, it's the taking away of freedoms. So I think we could assume what the answer would be. Whereas I do agree.
Okay, everybody's back.
That's how a county committee needs to be.
This is great. This is great.
I just realized one thing. You know, as a socialism, so it's falling to what? Give up the freedom? No. I just realized one thing. Since he's a
Okay, please, let's let him talk. Okay, let's let him talk. We got 4 minutes left.
I love this.
We continue.
Okay, well, I just realized one thing. You're right. As a socialism, you know, you're saying that he's willing to give up the freedom to be, safe, right? But deep in his heart or mind, whatever, he doesn't want to give up that, the freedom.
We agree.
But
we will. But the problem is.
So do you have the voter registration form? The voter registration form? It's about to switch party to us. Welcome to my family.
Let's have one more question, and we're going to wrap it up, okay? So Taisha hasn't said anything yet, so let's pass the mic to Taisha.
Where were you born? Were you born here?
I was born in France, but hold on. My grandfather was a Japanese American. Born in Chicago in 1914. He got thrown in. He was a socialist Japanese American who was thrown in jail because he was a draft. He broke his draft card. After he was sent to jail. And hold on. He was sent to jail, and he ended up in Europe. Fighting for America. He had to make a choice between fascism and America. And my grandfather.
He answered the question. The follow-up question is, with all the countries that say they're socialist, why do you want to make this country a socialist?
Because it's already a socialist country. You don't realize. If you're a billionaire, you can do whatever you want.
Why won't you live in those other countries? You already have it set up. Why won't you live there?
But I already live over there too. I am from New York. And my mother sent me to France when I was 7 years old because free school was cheaper in France and in better quality than it was on West 141st Street and Broadway.
I'm going to let him wrap it up since we have 3 more minutes left. Any last statements you'd like to make?
First of all, I'd like to thank you for hosting this night, Daniel, and the club. I look forward to coming back and doing this again.
Welcome.
I just wish that the subjects would have went beyond the socialism.
Agreed.
We all know it's bad, but real quickly, I do want to say something. I spoke to Daniel a little earlier. We have a big problem with conservative and Republican parties. When we have a candidate wins a district, instead of us backing these candidates, we kind of see it as an area that's a winnable seat. And we end up with 6 Republicans running against a Republican conservative. And we need to stop this, okay? When we make that monumental task like we just did in the Bronx, in the 13th City Council District, electing Christy Marmorato, I already have people coming to me and want to challenge her because now they think a Republican and a conservative can win in that site. This is absurd, and we need to stop doing this, okay? When we get a candidate in, George Santos was thrown out of Congress. What happened? What did the Republicans in Congress accomplish by throwing George Santos out? They turned the seat blue, okay? And we're repeating that mistake on every level, okay? I understand there's rhinos out there, whatever you want to call them. I'm not a Republican. I hate to meddle and use that word, but we need to say, okay, that's a one seat. Let's get the seat next door. Don't go after that one because it's winnable. Go after the one that's not winnable right now. And that's what we need to start doing here in New York City if we're ever going to get ahead. It's ridiculous. As the county chair in the Bronx, I see the most absurd things when a little headway is made. Things are done to destroy that headway. And I just wanted to get that point in tonight, and thank you for listening.
I agree with you in the sense that we need to go after every seat, Democrat and Republican and others, to fight for those.
I'm sorry, just to what Chino Dio just said. In the Bronx, we have, out of 21 seats, we managed to get 18 candidates on the conservative line. And that's what this is about, okay? We need to get those candidates up there. We only lost one to a challenge.
Well, good luck. And thank you, Daniel, for having me and everybody here. I know this is not your cup of tea, but that's okay. I didn't come here, but I didn't come to talk about that, but we needed to get it out so you know where we start. And then we can work on building the county committee, Republican and Democrat and conservative. You're doing that.
Yes,
I know
next
the
year we're doing it.
Well, no, we need to build our county committee.
We have to vote for that.
I will let. Well, I will do the judicial thing. I will keep it to myself. You'll never know what it is. That's one thing of America is great. That is, you have the secrecy, of your vote, and it should be secret, and you should not fear when you go to that poll site to vote for whoever you care to vote for. And it is not me who's going to tell you tonight. That's your person.
Well, there's two little things that I want to talk about, okay? One thing is, I realize, isn't that wonderful that we have a democracy here? Just think about it. I totally disagree with something, but I totally willing to fight for his right. Okay? And another thing, I'm actually originally from Taiwan.
Why don't you give Jonathan Rinaldi the line in the 28th Assembly District? Why is that seat vacant? He has the Republican line, he has the Truth line, he has the We the People. How come Jonathan Rinaldi does not have the conservative line in Queens? Why is that? Why did you leave it vacant? Why is that? Is there a reason for that? Are you tied to the Republican Party? I mean, he only needed 10 signatures anyway to get onto the conservative line in the 28th Assembly District. Why doesn't he? There's no other candidate, no other Republican candidate ran. How come he doesn't have the conservative line?
When do you actually come to the meeting?
He came to the meeting and you rejected him, he told me.
I mean, I've been to the meeting. I mean, listen, when I ran for Congress, right, I didn't get your endorsement.
When is it?
Huh?
When is it?
No, I'm not running, I just said, but it doesn't matter.
He's running for assembly right now.
Yeah, I'm running for.
And he's running for city council as well at the same time.
Because I'm actually officially become the chair as.
So he's gonna be running for city council. You wanna know?
Phil, you have a great question. The problem is he did not become a chairman until this year. So he,
Yeah.
so
that's actually the reason why when the lady was at the beginning she was actually pretty mad at me. And then after I explained to her, she said, oh, okay. So I said, next time please come to me first, because actually I become officially the chair, the position, like after this. So, to me it's more like, okay, I'm still learning. I'm still trying to, pick up the things. But one thing I want to mention is, actually, you don't see this in some other, so-called, the socialism country or the communist country.
Communist.
I mean, I have to make this very, very clear. Okay, I'm sorry, because, I'm from Taiwan. Taiwan is actually now the very first country that, is democracy, that we just have our like presidential election. Okay? And then we don't see, like so many crazy stuff. People are disagree with each other. They might killing some, each other sometimes, all those. But the true thing is, I totally disagree, but I 100% protect your right. Okay? But another thing that we have to make sure one thing is, okay? I still remember back then when socialism, when they tried to, don't hate me, okay? But when socialism, when they try to tell you that we are no harm, we are same, we brothers, okay? But when it ends up 60 million people got killed. Okay? That's like the poison covered by the sugar. We have to be very, very careful with this. Okay?
Okay, anyways, 50-50 time, so will these two people go up to the table and just take any prizes from the table? Those two people are?
We got it. Oh, okay. Jay Feldman.
Okay, I think he just. I think he just left, but that's okay. He'll get.
Okay. And Jim Livieri.
So any two more names for the 50-50 table. Okay. Sophia, where? Sophia.
Sophia Warren. All right.
And Eric Kamizinski, anything from the table. And the winner of the 50-50 is
R.R. MacArthur.
Robert MacArthur. You win in the 50-50. Okay, it's 9:36. Thank you very much for coming. I want to thank our guests and panels. Any one of you that will answer whatever questions you have. So